you'd take Christian Petracca over Merrett on merit?
Yeah, I would. I think this is real. So I've been thinking about this a lot. They're both about to turn 30. Petracca is a Norm Smith medalist, 4 All-Australians, 2 best and fairest, and finished 3rd in a Brownlow. And Merrett is 6 best and fairest and 3 All-Australians. And Petracca's best has had him as a top 5 player in the competition. Yep. Merrett has been a top 10, top 20. But Petracca's best footy has been better than Merrett's best footy. So, separate to the needs of an individual club, put the two up against the wall, I'll take Petracca for these years of their career.
I think pre this period, yes, where the game's going, you might go with the better kicker.
Yes, yes. So you have to, what are your most value? I suspect Petracca's kicking into a more competent forward line in a better team mightn't be quite as big an issue as it looked like. Yep. And there's, you know, along the way there's been a knock on Dangerfield's kicking, but it's never been the #1 aspect of his game. The rest of what he does, I think Petracca has those qualities.
I hope Paddy's watching.
So, yeah, but everyone will make it. But same terms, same tenure, I'll take Petracca.
That's a good question.
Jy Simpkin might be the tipping point. So the background to this story is Jake Nile today has reported that Simpkin has felt discontent over the limited minutes he's had in the midfield. He has expressed it during the season and he has expressed it forcefully at his exit meeting. It's not so far as requesting a trade. But the kicker here is he's contracted till 2029. He's got 4 years to run on the long-term deal.
Enough's enough on this one. So Jy's the captain of the football club. I don't mind him going in and saying, listen, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. But there's an element of selflessness about this when you take on the captaincy and leadership of your football club and you do it with your eyes wide open, particularly when you sign a contract until the end of 2029. So where's this culture come from now that we go, OK, let's sign long-term. I want a long-term give me the long-term contract. The club said, all right, here. But know that this is you until 2029. Then don't turn around and say, well, I'm not playing enough time in the middle. I want out. No, I'm not playing enough time in the middle. What do I need to do to get back in? Or where else can I help the football club? I signed the long-term contract. I'm the captain of the footy club. I'm going to be until 2029. Where can I be of best value? What's the manager's role in this? This is the players, I think, are starting to take liberty. Where's the manager sitting in all this going, hey, long-term means long-term?
No, they don't look at it like that.
Well, they should.
It looks at the moment like we'll get you the long-term contract and if things go awry, we'll bundle you out. We'll blow it up and get out.
Brad Scott said that here on Wednesday night, and maybe they're going to have to learn a real painful lesson, both manager and player. Yeah. Guess what? You ain't going anywhere.
There's a reckoning coming here. You can make the case less and less against trading without consent. Yeah. While this is going on, you can leave essentially without consent of your club during a... Well, it's time to level up the playing field on that. Once you get to X amount of dollars and the average contract clearly crosses that threshold now, it's time to seriously look at trading without consent.
I haven't been a great fan of that, but if they're going to continue to do this, then we've got to open our eyes and ears to it.
Last one on the Tassie front. Here's Bucks last night on Couch.
I had to risk sacrificing an opportunity to coach Melbourne to keep an opportunity to coach Tasmania because the timelines just didn't match up. And Melbourne rightfully made the decision on a coach that absolutely was all in and wanted to do the job, and that was Stephen King. So they've made the very much the right call. Yeah, I was more attracted to the Tasmanian job than I was to the Melbourne job.
So Tasmania's a better option for Bucks anyway?
Yeah, I think this was always real. Right from the very first day when it was floated and he was interested, he had his head turned by Brendan Gale. The idea of the ground zero build, bringing young men together and taking them on the journey and being the spokesman for a team and a state, that absolutely suits Bucks' demeanour. And I suspect all of this has helped reinvigorate. Yes, he does want to coach again. I hope that meeting went well today. I don't know what the timeline will end up being, but he would be a great first coach for the Devils.
It is astounding to think, Josh, that the second item for us on the midweek tackle tonight is that another captain could be on the move. We've seen Oscar Allen trying to make his way to Brisbane. We've got Zach Merrett trying to get his way to Hawthorn, but there could be one out of Arden Street. Tell us the latest.
Yeah, so Jy Simpkin is the next name to add to your captaincy, I guess, rounding wheelbarrows at the moment. So he is frustrated about his midfield time. He has not put in a trade request officially, but there have been rumblings at Arden Street for quite some time that he's not happy he's been pushed out of the centre square. So I'll read some names to you here. Tristan Cherry, Luke Davies-Uniacke, Luke Parker, George Wardlaw, Will Phillips, Tom Powell, Harry Sheasel, all of those players had more centre bounce attendances on average than Jy Simpkin did this year. He's the captain of the team, but he's not playing where he wants to be. He signed a massive deal in 2023. It's a deal that we believe will pay him more than $800,000 a year until the end of 2029. But he's not happy with how things are going.
Well, he's not getting into a position there in front of some of those guys there, is he? You can understand where North Melbourne's coming from in this sense. So the question mark is, would there be any club out there willing to entertain it, particularly on the money? Like, it's pushing up into the nearly $900,000 bracket. So I think that's the fascinating thing there, Barnesy.
Yeah, that's going to be the tricky thing, and that was something that will develop as we progress through this, whether any suitors do bob up, because this is a player that isn't getting midfield time at a team that can't win any games.
Yeah.
So while they do have a good young midfield, he's not really banging down the door with his performances at the moment, Jy Simpkin. So there's going to be a lot of, I guess, shopping around at the moment.
Were you as shocked as I was by this report? I mean, he seems like such a heart and soul player there.
I feel he is a heart and soul player. The players love him, so there's no doubt about that. The players absolutely love him. But I think now I've got to a situation where I'm not really shocked with anything anymore. It's like, where's the next explosion going to go off?
That is very true. And as I said, we haven't even got to this weekend's preliminary finals, which are ring-a-ding-dingers of their own accord. Now, Christian Petracca, before we move on, the potential moving parts across this competition, he is the other big player who could potentially shape this trade period. Now, our colleague in Adelaide, Simeon Thomas-Wilson, had a significant update on this today on another club that could be an early suitor for him.
Yeah, and that club is Adelaide. And you think about that, it sort of makes sense. They desperately need a midfielder. We saw that they were slaughtered in those two particular finals. They got really smashed in the midfield there. They're cashed up too. No Nazaya Wanganeen-Miller, so there's plenty of money there in that sense. So they'll certainly be having a crack at Christian Petracca. He could have been a captain if he, if things had gone the right way. He might have been sharing it with Max at some stage. We know last year he wanted out at the end of last year. He's not as sold on it this year, but he would be open to entertain offers if the right offers were there. And certainly Adelaide's the one.
Figures in the industry I've spoken to this week are pretty clear. This is the last time, really, I think, for Christian and Melbourne. If Melbourne's going to get any sort of value back, it's this year. He's coming off a second place in a best and fairest. Had an okay year, not a great year, but you can only imagine the performances are probably going to dwindle as his age goes up. So if he's going to move, it's best for him and it's probably best for Melbourne to do it now.
It's a horrible dance, isn't it, that comes at this time of year, and this, as I say, is the second consecutive year that they've had this at Melbourne. Surely they cannot go through this yet again with Christian, so we'll follow that one closely. Now, Josh, another leader that is being circled, of course, is Lachie Neale, who is potentially still in contention, which you'll tell us about in a moment, but you can tell us that he isn't going anywhere, the co-captain.
Yeah, we can squash one of them at least. This captain isn't on the move. So his manager, Tim Lones from TGI, went on the record with me today, and you'll read it in tomorrow's Herald Sun and on Code Sports right now, that there is absolutely nothing to the talk about him going back to WA. That's been doing the rounds quite a bit. There is no interest in going back to West Coast. There is no homesickness with him or within his family. So he wants to stay at Brisbane. And what he wants to do is play in a grand final. That's what he's working to at the moment. Our Queensland reporter, Cal Dick, said he did a running session today. Could you believe? Only a couple of weeks after that calf tear. And what we can reveal to you tonight is it's not just a hyperbaric chamber that we've heard a lot about. It's red light therapy that he's doing at the moment.
Red light therapy.
So if you haven't heard of that one, Mac, and you don't do it back at your home at Diamond Creek.
No red light therapy.
It's supposed to heal muscle and get you back on the park. So he's doing everything he can.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
He still says it's a long shot, but perhaps Brisbane's coming around. We had a look at the injury report earlier today. Before today, he was listed as out for the season, no chance. Right now, he's listed as a TBC, Lachie Neale. So the door is slightly open.
Maybe some convincing he's done there on his coach. I mean, would you take the risk? I think you probably would. He's a two-time Brownlow medalist.
Very, very good player. And he plays through pain. We've seen it. We saw him in the grand final last year. He was outstanding. Almost won a Norm Smith medal, and he could barely walk after it, and he couldn't walk for 3 days.
It's crazy to think, isn't it, that he could potentially... Obviously, they've got to bet past Collingwood, which is no mean feat, on Saturday night. Now, take us to Tassie, Glenn, because Nathan Buckley, as we know, met with the Devils hierarchy today about their potential coaching position, should they get that licence notice. But what actually is the timeline for their decision?
Yeah, that's the interesting point, isn't it? The timeline, we're still waiting because they don't have a licence at this stage to actually offer Nathan the job. He's clearly their preferred candidate at this stage. They will speak to other candidates. They want to try and, look around the marketplace and see what's going on. But clearly Nathan is the man to, to potentially take. And I think he'd be a great appointment. He met with Brendan Gale, the footy director Alistair Lynch, and the president Grant O'Brien, to discuss the role and to sort of work their way through it. We're looking at, as our colleague John Ralph reports, we're looking at around about an appointment later this year, but it might might be that appointment is more as a consultant for a short period of time, which actually might suit Bucks. He can still do some of his other roles in that sense as well. So we could have a decision, but not, he wouldn't be working full-time on it until potentially, next year, towards the late part of next year.
You followed the Tasmania story really closely, Josh. It feels like this is a really formative time. We've got the Tasmanian Planning Commission report that's due tomorrow, which will make its recommendation, of course, on whether the stadium will come. We've got the Commission meeting on Monday ahead of the Brownlow medal where they could, I guess, discuss it and potentially reveal some of the draft concessions. So, as we say, while the licence is yet to be granted, it is a really big few months for them, isn't it?
Yeah, and what is key is they don't have that sort of figurehead person right now to appeal to players.
That's the important thing.
Colin McKercher turned down the option to be around at their first year. James Leake, another Tasmanian, re-signed recently. They need that sort of figurehead, even if it is a consultant, Mac, that can say, I'm going to be your coach, I'm going to guide you in the right direction. They have a good recruiting team in now, but they need someone to sell that dream.
Well said.